to episode 4 of the Honeybird Studio podcast. My name is Jenny, and I'm coming to you from the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Honeybird Studio. This is a podcast that is primarily about knitting, and possibly in the future some other fiber-related things that I might get up to. But today is all knitting with some acquisitions towards the end. I just wanted to start by saying welcome to any new viewers who are stopping by for the first time today to check out my podcast. So glad you're here. And also welcome back to those of you who are coming back to my episode 4 of my podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. It's so great to be able to interact with people in the comments and see what you guys are up to. It's been so great to just, read the comments and reply and stuff like that. So totally appreciate that. Every time you guys leave a comment or like and subscribe, it's very uplifting. But yeah, so I think, the other thing too is that there is a Ravelry group. I'll link that down below. I believe I called it Honeybird Studio. I think I just called it the Honeybird Studio podcast group or something. I don't know. I'll link it down below. But yeah, right now there's just the one post. It's just a welcome post. And if you want to stop by and say hello, that'd be great. I think in the future I'll probably start posting my show notes over there on Ravelry as well. But for now it's a little bit barren, but that's okay. So I think what I'll do is just jump right into things. And the first thing I'm going to show you is what I'm wearing, which is actually one of my finished objects. The last time I podcasted, I had separated for the sleeves and I was just maybe a couple inches into the body of the cardigan. So now it's officially done. I cast it off probably, oh goodness, it had to have been within the week that I cast it on. But I'll stand up and show you. So this is my cardigan, first cardigan I've ever made. You can see, it's a little bit long, but that's how I like it. So I've got some cable details on the sleeve here, and then on the back there's some more. There's some cables and lace on the back. So this is my own design. I just kind of like I said last time, I looked up a couple of free patterns. I got some numbers and kind of I guess I wouldn't say average them out, but I kind of just got an idea for what my size would be. And I cast on the number of stitches that I was pretty sure I needed for my size, and then kind of just went from there and just kind of winged it. Well, not winged it. I had the design idea in my head. But so I really like how it turned out. The yarn that I used is Craft Smart Value Tweed. So it's what did I say it was? 97% acrylic and 3% viscose. So what I tried, I've never blocked acrylic before. You can't block it like you can with wool. So the way to block it, or at least the way that I saw on YouTube when I was looking it up, is you take a steam iron or an iron with the steam option, and you basically kill the acrylic to make the shape, or not make the shape, but to block it essentially. And so I feel like it did, because originally this was flipping in a lot. And so I, when I blocked it, or steam blocked it, now it sits pretty flat. And then same with the lace, or the detail on the back. What I did was I stretched it over my, I stretched it over my ironing board, and I gave it a good block, or tried to steam block it. So I think it turned out pretty good. So that's my cardigan. I have a tentative name for it. I think I'm gonna, I think I kind of have a couple of designs with these particular stitch patterns on it. And I think I'm making a cardigan, a wrap, and socks, all with a similar pattern. And I'm going to be calling them, it's going to be my Woodstone collection, I think, tentatively. Don't hold me to it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so this would be called the Woodstone Cardigan. And then I have a wrap that I made. And then I'm working on socks. I didn't bring today because I had to take them apart, and so it's sitting as a big pile of yarn spaghetti on my computer desk with just a little bit of the sock done right now. I had to, yeah, like I said, I got like pretty much all the way down the leg and decided I didn't like the way that it was looking, so I took the whole thing apart. And now I have yarn spaghetti. So I didn't bother bringing that. But yeah, so that's what I'm wearing, and it's yeah, it's great to just throw on and have around the house. It's just a nice cardigan. So yeah, from there I'll move on to my finished objects, and the first thing I'll show, I guess, like to be in theme with the cardigan, is the Woodstone Wrap. So this, I believe I showed it last time. I showed what my first idea was for this wrap, where I had the it's like a honeycomb cable sort of looking thing, and I didn't like how that was, I didn't like how it ended up like sucking in the stitches, and so I came up with another cable and lace design. And I think I was about 1 ball of yarn into this, and now it is finished. And so you can see the stitch. Oh my goodness, it looks so cool. I think that's the, let's see, yeah, there we go. Oh, don't mind these. I did not weave these in before I blocked because I wasn't sure if I was going to add, like I thought I might take out the last couple of rows and add another ball of yarn. I wasn't sure if it was going to be long enough after I blocked it, but it's fairly long. I think I used a total of four balls of yarn, and it just keeps going and going and going until the end there. So it's basically, it's pretty simple, like very intuitive. Once you do a couple of repeats, it's pretty like it's very memorizable, or at least for me it was very memorizable. It was just, yeah, and it actually kind of flew off the needles because it was just so quick and mindless. Like once I got the stitch pattern memorized, it was easy to just get going on it. So this, let's see. So you can wear it like, I don't know, it's big enough to wear. Look at that. My idea, or like what I wanted to use this for, was for the cold weather, but I think it's going to start getting warmer now. But I think it'd be great for cold weather. It'd be a really nice big scarf to wear, or a big wrap. Oh, I just kind of tuck the up. But yeah, so definitely would keep you warm in the cold weather. The yarn that I used for this one is Briggs & Little in their Heritage base, and I believe the colorway is called Rag. And it's kind of like it's a little bit of a marled oatmeal color, like it's got a little bit of oatmeal and like beige in there. So it looks really cool. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I love the stitch pattern so much that I put it in a cardigan. Now I'm putting it in socks, and I've got it in a wrap. And I'm thinking like maybe I could put it in a hat, maybe into gloves, maybe in a shawl. I don't know. I'm getting a little carried away with the stitch pattern, but we'll see what happens. All right, fix my hair here. But yeah, so this is the Woodstone Wrap. I'd like to try and make it in a fingering weight as well, or maybe a DK. This is like a heavy worsted weight, I would say. I didn't do a gauge swatch, so I couldn't tell you the stitches. But yeah, so I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's really, yeah, I just really like the stitch pattern on this. So yeah, so that's the Woodstone Wrap. And then I have one more finished object that, again, I've shown this on many, or I say many, like the last couple of podcasts. Here we go. So this is another, again, You've already seen this color, I know, but this is a different one. This is my third one that I've made. Nope. This is one, two. Oh yeah, so this is the third one I've made because I made one for a friend, and then I made one for my friend's baby, and now like I made this very smallest size. I think it's an extra small for the baby, and like it fits because it's ribbing. It's a little big on her, but it's super cute. So now they have matching tops, and yeah, and so I made the size medium. Oh, right. So yeah, this is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May Designs. And the yarn that I used is Loops and Threads Wool-like, and I held it double. And last time I said that I used the needle size recommended in the pattern. However, so when I bought these needles, the packaging said 3.5 millimeters. And when I put it in my my needle gauge, it actually was a 3.25. So I've knit all of my bralettes now on a 3.25 needle, and I like the stitch definition on this. I like the gauge that I got. So yeah, so I'm gonna stick to using a 3.25 for my future bralettes. But yeah, so oh, and this I washed it, so I've already worn this, and after wearing it for a day, it kind of like it stretched out and it stayed like this, and I thought, oh shoot, because it's acrylic and nylon, I thought maybe it would kind of just get stuck like that, but I washed it the other day and laid it flat to dry, and it kind of sucked itself back in, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, so, and yeah, like I said, it made it through the wash. I mean, I guess it's acrylic, so. But yeah, I just laid it flat to dry, and it's good to go again. So yeah. I believe that's it for finished objects. I think now, yeah, that's it for finished objects. So now I'll move on to works in progress. I'll save the big piece for last. So in this bag, I think I showed it last time, it's just a floral bag that I made a couple of years ago. This in here, so I wanted to make a new shawl design. I have an idea in my head for a really big shawl. Like I want to make a really big, yeah, shawl. So so this is using Briggs and Little Sport, which I feel like is working out more like a heavy fingering. But I did do a swatch, like you can see here. I did swatch in my other yarn, my other Briggs and Little Sport, and I think, what did I get? Oh shoot, now I don't even remember what the stitches I got. But it seemed a little bit more like on the fingering weight side. So I mean, I'm using a 3.75 millimeter needle, a US 5, and I like the gauge. Like I like the gauge that I'm getting with that. Anyways, I don't remember what the colorway is for this, but it's gray. And this is what I've got so far. So it's going to be a top-down triangle. And I've got, like, what I'm doing every some odd rows is like this cluster stitch. It doesn't show up very well on the camera. And then every other one I'm doing eyelets. So you can see the next one is the cluster stitches again. And I just finished doing a row. Oh, it's kind of curling. Just finished doing a row of eyelets. So it's looking, I mean, I like the way that it's looking so far. I think what I'm going to do is just continue doing this until I have a couple more repeats, until it gets a little bit bigger. And then once I get it to a size that I like, I have an idea for a lace, like yeah, I want to add lace towards the end. So yeah, so that's hopefully going to work out. I'm going to have to math it out because yeah, putting a lace or like putting any kind of pattern into a like a shawl where you're increasing on every other row, you have to compensate for that increase for every other row in like the lace pattern or like any stitch pattern that you're doing. So it shouldn't be too bad. I've done it with previous shawls before, so and I just want to show off here my little stitch marker. See the, whoops, little cat stitch marker, and that's from Firefly Notes. I think I showed it off last time on my last podcast. So I got a little bag of mixed meows of little stitch markers of various sizes. But yeah, I don't have a name for this pattern. I'm sure it'll come to me. Sometimes the name comes before the pattern, and other times the name comes after I'm done the pattern, or while I'm knitting the pattern anyway. So that's that. Next one is in this, another bag that I made. This is, again, I think is fabric I got from my grandparents. So it's like a bunch of sweet treats on there. Yeah, cakes and cupcakes and stuff. It's super cute. I really like this bag. But yes, so in here is, oh shoot. I think, okay, so this is a sweater, and this is I think it's called Eri, E-R-I, and it's by, I want to say Isabel Kramer. I looked at the pattern this morning. I'm very certain that it's Isabel Kramer. So I just finished my first ball of yarn. Oops. So I just have that much left of my first ball, and this is about as far as I've gotten. So you can see on the front, it's got like a lace and cable detail. You can tell I'm kind of obsessed with cables and lace right now. And then there's like a double seed stitch here, and then like a mock cable, a cable, lace, and then it repeats over here on this side. So this sweater is, oh yeah, and then the yarn I'm using is Briggs & Little in their sport base, and the colorway is mulberry. So this was an interesting construction on the neck. It took me a few times of reading the pattern to sort it out in my brain. But I just took it one row at a time. Like I read the whole thing, and then I went back and just knit one row at a time, and then it made sense. I've never done a neck construction like this before, so it was interesting, and I'm interested to see like how I'm gonna go back and pick up the stitches, because it wasn't a provisional cast on or anything like that, so going back and picking up these stitches to do the neckband will be an interesting endeavor. But yeah, so whoops. Also, so that was the swatch that I did for this, and I had to go down one needle size. I think it said to use a 4mm needle, but I got gauge on a 3.75, and it looks a little small because I've got it bunched up on a small circumference circular needle. But I think I'm knitting the size medium, so once I've got it finished and blocked, it should fit me. But yeah, like I said, I got the stitch gauge, but the row gauge was off by 1, and I figured I probably wouldn't need to do any changes in the raglan increases, because I was only off by 1 stitch, and I'm hoping that a couple of stitches on the row gauge won't be that big of a deal. But we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, so that's that one. So I really want to get the sweater done by next time. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be done by next time. And then in this one, I have another another Ripple Bralette by Jessie May Designs, because I'm kind of obsessed with making them. And again, I'm using loops and threads, wool-like held double. The color I'm using is Rose. So this is it here. And oops, I got lots of ends because there was lots of knots in the yarn, unfortunately, on this one. But yeah, so it's a really nice color, this is one of my favorite pinks. Like, it's kind of like a dusty rose kind of color. Again, I'm making the size medium. I'm using 3.25. I used the recommended needle size for the bottom ribbing, and now I'm using a 3.25 for the rest of it. So I probably have probably half an inch before, or maybe like an inch before I start the working back and forth for the front. But yeah, there's not much else to really say about this. Size medium, same as my other ones. Probably will have it done by the next time I podcast. Might even have a couple more. I did go to Michael's and they had a sale 25% off of the loops and threads. So I did buy a couple more colors. I think I bought black, off-white, gray, and this rose color. Oh yeah, and then this is in my fox bag, which I think I showed off last time. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. But now, my favorite work in progress is another Woodstone cardigan. So I'll take this one off. Yeah. Let's set that on the back of the chair. Okay, so this I'm holding again in my shopping bag because it's too big for any of the bags that I made for myself. I'm gonna have to look at my fabric and see if I've got enough to make a bigger bag to hold like sweater or like bigger projects. Okay, so this is kind of a fun mess here. All right, so this is another Woodstone cardigan. This time I'm using this is like a heavier worsted. This is the Briggs & Little in the Heritage base, and the colorway is called Fundy Fog. So you can see this is really nice heathered purple. You see like flecks of like blue and pink and purple. It's really nice. So I had to adjust the numbers for this cardigan. I think I made a size. This is probably considered a size small. I personally should have probably done more stitches to make a medium. But this one, I think after I block it, it fits me now, but I think it'll fit even better once I've blocked it. So I've made a lot of progress on this. If you were following me on Instagram, you will have seen I cast it on Tuesday night. I wrote up 5 or 6 pages worth of notes, and then I just kept going on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today's Sunday. So I've been working on this since Tuesday, and I've gotten everything done except for one sleeve. So you can see here. Ta-da! So I'll put it on so you can get a better look. Okay, whoops. If I can get my arm through here. Okay. Oh, maybe I'll have to move my chair. Get a better look at this. Okay. So, you see, like, I didn't do any sort of waist shaping. I just knit straight. I think what I'm going to do is add some waist shaping. So, I'm going to increase more here, and then probably increase around the hip. Yeah, because it doesn't quite close, which is fine by me. Like, I'm totally cool with this not closing. But I did make a change on the sleeve. So instead of only having one of these cables running down the side, I've got the 2 cables plus this one. And then I just started the sleeve this morning, so I only gotten like 2 repeats done so far. And then, of course, the back with all the cables and the lace. You see that? Oh. Yeah, and so, yeah. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. And I'll just get my chair back over. Okay, I'll throw this one back on. Okay, so let's talk about this work in progress. Yeah, so some of the changes that I did was because I didn't realize. So in this one, I picked up 1 stitch for every row on the collar here, or like the ribbing. And when I did some further research into how to pick up for for the collar on cardigans is that you would do, or like a couple of the patterns that I saw said to pick up 2 stitches for every 3 rows. And so that's what I did, was I picked up 2 stitches every 3 rows. And I feel like that gives it more structure, which is nice. And then the other thing I did, and this was just something, this was me MacGyvering my pattern here, because on the bottom, on this part here, oh, here. So on this part here, I'm pretty sure I picked up the edge stitch, but when I went back and looked at it, it looked like it was curling, and then it just didn't line up. And so what I did was I took a crochet hook and I just slipped the stitch. I just did a slip stitch all the way along the edge here. And so I think when I block it, it'll sit nicer. And I did the same thing on the other side as well. Cause I don't know, it looked a little weird. Like, I think the next time I do it, I would pick up, or I would knit 3 stitches before doing the 2x2 rib. Or I would just do the slip stitch thing, cause it looks kind of, like, it looks nice. I think it fixed my problem, so. And it only took a couple of seconds to do. But yeah, so I think once I give this a good soak and I block it, I think it'll, like, the stitches will kind of like loosen up, and I think it'll drape more nicely. But yeah, so I've been working like a mad woman on this. I think I would have been done by now had I not screwed up on Wednesday afternoon. I was in a Zoom call and I had made a mistake at the very start of the Zoom call, and I had gotten, or no, sorry, I had 2 Zoom calls on Wednesday, and it was my first Zoom call. I made the mistake almost immediately after separating for the sleeves, and I had gotten, by the end of the second Zoom call, I had gotten about 4 inches of work done. And then when I stopped to look at it, I realized, oh no, I made a mistake all the way back, right below the sleeve separation. And I was well into my second ball of yarn too, so I had to rip all the way back, pick up all the stitches again. Thankfully, the mistake was right after, like the second row after I did the sleeve separation, because I don't know what I would have done if I had to rip back beyond the sleeve separation. But yeah, so that is that. That's the last work in progress that I have. Like I said, I do have socks that I'm working on that have a similar stitch pattern, or like I'm using the lace panel on the front and then the cable panel on the back of the sock. And yeah, because I did it the reverse the first time and I didn't like how that looked. So yeah. So that is it for the knitting related content. I believe I covered all that. So all that's left now is my acquisitions. So if you're not here for that, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. And if you are interested in what I've acquired this month, or yeah, I guess like this month, the last 3 weeks, I have plenty to show. So February is my birthday month, and so I did acquire a bit of yarn, as you can see here. And this is not technically all of it because I have more skeins of this black, but I figure I'd just bring the one out to show. So anyways, without further ado, my first acquisition is Briggs & Little in the Heritage. This is just black. So I bought, so once I fit, this is for another Woodstone cardigan. I'm gonna make a size up from that, and I'm gonna go over my notes and try and math it out, because honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to release the Woodstone cardigan anytime soon, because I can't seem to wrap my mind around how to grade it for different sizes. I think that's something I'm gonna have to really do more research into. And so when I knit the next one out of the black here, I'm gonna go over my notes, make some extra notes, and kind of go from there. See, because I think what I'm gonna do is make a chart for the lace and cable pattern and see if I can work from the chart, because for right now I've written every stitch out as written instructions and instead of a chart. So we'll see how that goes. So I bought, like I said, I think I got 7 of these, and they're $7 Canadian. So I feel like, what is that? 7 times 7, 49 plus a bit of tax. So it's like just over $50. And like that should be more than enough to make a cardigan. I'll probably have one skein left over, which I can use for another project. So we'll see how that goes. I'll just put that on the table here. My next acquisition is some Ashford DK, 100% New Zealand wool. So this is showing up a lot more yellow on the camera. It's more of a mustardy yellow. So I got 3 different colors. So I have an idea for either a scarf or a shawl pattern. I'm still debating if I want to do a color work, something with color work, or if I want to do like mosaic. That's another thing I'm gonna, it's on the back burner for now. But yeah, so I've got, does it say the color? No, but so I've got this color. It's kind of like a gray brown. I've got this color, which is like an oatmeal, like kind of like a beige. Whoops. And then yeah, and then the yellow. So I've got 2 of these ones. So this is going to be my main color, and then I think these are going to be these 2 will be contrast colors. So I've got these 4 skeins. Should be more than enough to make a shawl or a scarf. We'll see where that takes me. Yeah, so this is again, like I've kind of been on a rustic wool kick. So I've got like the Briggs and Little, and now I've got this Ashford DK, and it is, again, it's like it's a little prickly, but it's not, I don't think it's gonna be like unbearable. I actually really like working with rustic wool now. Or, I mean, not I say now. I really like working with the rustic wool, or I have been liking it lately. It has been drying my hands out just a little bit, but that's no big deal. I just carry hand lotion with me and everything's fine. But yeah. So, and then, okay, so, and then I have an order, or I had an order from Midknit Cravings, and they're starting their make-along tomorrow on Monday, March 1st. So, well, by the time you see this podcast, it'll already have started. And so I picked up I ordered some yarn, and it came a couple weeks ago, and I didn't want to wind it up yet because I wanted to show it on the podcast. So I've got, I got 2 of their light socks, or 2 colors, 2 skeins in their light sock base. So I've got these 2. So this is Wine Knot, and this is Afternoon Tea. Now putting them together, I think would make a really cool shawl. I really like these colors together. However, I originally bought them for socks because I want to use it for my sock design. But now after seeing them together like this, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to make a shawl. Well, we'll see, because I'm going to have to wind up these cakes for... in the next 2 months, I'm going to have these knit up into something. But yeah, so that's their, light sock. And then the last podcast I showed, I think it was called Mauve Speckle, a hat with a pom-pom in Midknit Cravings Hefty Bulky Base. So I got, you see the pom-pom here. It's a really nice speckled yarn. And so I bought another set. I don't think they have any left. I did contact them to see if they were going to get any more in, but because the season is changing, they won't be getting any more of the Hefty Bulky in until probably like more towards fall and stuff, which is fine. So I bought this with the with the idea that I was going to knit another one of my hats that I showed off last time. I'm just going to knit it again following my notes to make sure that I wrote them down correctly. I said I was going to have the pattern released by March 1st, but I think I'm going to wait on that. Again, like, because the season is changing, it's probably going to be cold still, cold enough to wear. I mean, I wear hats all the way until summer. But yeah, so the hat pattern that I made for this yarn might come out later, like more towards fall. We'll see. But yeah, so this is, again, the Hefty Bulky. This is the colorway Curtsy, and it came with like a burgundy and like a pretty burgundy pom-pom. So I'm really excited about that. And then my last acquisition is from Firefly Notes. They recently celebrated 10,000 sales on Etsy. And so they had they had a sale. I don't remember if it was 10 or 20% off. And so I picked up 2 sets of stitch markers. So I've got I got the small size of the cat stitch markers, and it's a baker's dozen, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, baker's dozen. So there was 13 in here. And then this one that I got is just gold rings. They're about the size that shows right there. And it came with a progress keeper. I thought it was pretty fitting. Honeybird Studio, you get a little bird stitch marker. So if I can get the stitch marker out. It's just a little gold bird. Let's see if I can, here we go. So I'm pretty excited to use this on, I don't generally use progress keepers, but I'm going to try and, because I usually just sit down and blast through a project. Well, I'm going to use it on my shawl that I'm working on, so then I can keep progress for next time. But yeah, and then, oh yeah, and then there's just little, like I said, just little gold rings in here. I think there was like maybe a dozen of them. And I really like these ones. Let's see if it'll, there we go. Yeah, just a simple gold ring. And yeah. So, yeah, I was very fortunate, and again, like I said, in the month of February was my birthday, so I acquired more yarn than I normally do. But yeah, I think that is about it. I think I've covered everything. So if you have stuck around this long, thank you so much for stopping by and watching my episode today. I'll be recording again. I think I'm kind of aiming more for like every 3 weeks or so. Like, yeah, every 3 weeks. I was contemplating maybe changing it to every 2 weeks because I have been getting a lot of knitting done. But we'll see how that goes. Whether I record in 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. Also, the other thing I totally forgot to mention at the top of the episode was, because it was my birthday month, I had a sale on my birthday week. I did have a sale on my patterns for 33% off. And so, and I was kind of kicking myself because I didn't mention that on my previous podcast. And so I wanted to extend the offer to my viewers to use a coupon code for 33% off of any of my patterns until, let's say, March 15th. Yeah, the middle of the month. So that gives you about, once this podcast goes up, just about 2 weeks. So the coupon for that will be, what'll I use? We'll use birthday 33, all capitals and then 33. So I'll put it on the screen and I'll put it in the show notes as well. So you can use that at checkout to get 33% off of any of my patterns until March 15th. So yeah, so that's, as a thank you and a celebration, all wrapped in one. All right, happy knitting. Bye.